Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In our last video we started cutting and fitting the new bulkheads for the heads on our Sealine SC35 Project Boat. In total there are 6 bulkheads that sit on the shower moulding and need to be cut from 18mm Akume marine plywood to form the toilet area and shower compartment. So let's pick up where we left off last week. Another bulkhead done. So as predicted, was a little bit tricky trying to get it contoured to the side of the hull, but the fit is really nice down the bottom here and along the side of the hull here as well. That gap there is a little bit bigger than I would have liked. We were aiming for sort of 15-20mm and it's probably more 20 to 25, but I think we can live with that. But then again, contour around here is really good. This end here is perfectly level with the rest of our bulkhead, so that's perfect. So next we've got another bulkhead here which runs at sort of an angle. I mean, it looks like it's sort of 45 degrees, but it's not. I've taken a measurement with we've got a little angle meter, and it's a really odd angle. I think it's 51 degrees or something like that. And also this angle here, and again, I've not actually measured that one, but I suspect that will also be a bit of an odd measurement. So I think what we'll do next is we'll put this templated bulkhead back in here. We'll find some angles and then we can start to cut these two pieces. Okay guys, so we've cut those 2 bulkheads. This one was fairly straightforward, just scribed it to the deck there. This one on the corner at an angle, that was quite tricky. So we've got a 19-degree cut down here, or 19 on each side, and then 25.5 on that side, and that definitely took a few goes to get that right. A few trips to the workshop, but now that is fitting really nice now. Also, while we're at it, we cut a new piece here as well for the doorway, so that's got the scallops out here at the top. This is just we basically used the original one, we'd got that, so we just used that as a template and we've cut it from that and scribed it down at the bottom here. We have got to router this edge out here so that there's a joining piece that goes in here, but we can do that at a later point. That's no problem at all. And what we also did was we cut some slots in the floor. So we cut a slot down here, so this goes right down onto this sort of solid timber work here, but it's actually within the floor, so we can epoxy that in. And same here, you can see that we've cut a slot and that sits nicely in there, so we'll be able to epoxy that in, and that'll be super strong. So that worked out really well. Obviously we've not cut the doorways in yet. We've done that so that it kept the board nice and flat while we're offering it all up. Again, we can do that at a later point, that's no problem. So what we're going to do now is take all this back out. So obviously this was the dry fit. We'll put these somewhere flat in the workshop just to make sure that they don't warp. And then what we'll do is we'll mark the bottom of this tray where it's sat now. And then we're going to take the tray out, we're going to strengthen it underneath, and then we'll be able to bond that into place. So, got the shower tray moulding down in the workshop, and we're just now trying to work out the best way to reinforce this so that we can fix it to our floor. So this is the surface that's going to hit the floor. So the plan is that we will put epoxy on here and epoxy it down onto the floor. But what we're also going to do is put a strip of plywood underneath here, so we'll bond and glass that into place. So we'll just cut a piece here just to try it. So that will sit under there, something like that. And then that means that we can use some heavy duty coach screws, bolt through and epoxy. That will then be super strong. We've also got sort of some other sort of load areas, if you like. So we've got the shower tray here. This does have timber built in. We've got the shower tray here, and we've got the toilet that sits on this ledge here. So we also want some sort of pickup supports as well in those areas. So we've just cut these little bits of timber just to see how that might work. These aren't the finished article, but it's going to use these as templates. And then these will just also sit on our floor. We've got stringers in between, so we've just got to consider those as well. So these will sit on the floor, and again we can epoxy these and we can screw through some heavy duty stainless steel screws, and then that will securely fix this to our floor, and there's absolutely no way that it's going anywhere, and we're not going to get any squeaks, which is kind of the thing that we're kind of conscious of, is that we don't want any squeaks on the floor. So yeah, definitely worth sort of putting a little bit of time and effort into this and making sure it's absolutely spot on. all our plywood pieces are now cut, and what we're going to do now is bond these into place. So what we'll have to do is just sand this layout with some 40 grit, and then we'll bond the upright pieces into place first, and also these pieces that go under our lip, which is what we're going to be screwing to the floor, or the screws will be coming into that timber. And then once we've done that, we'll then come in with some glass and just glass up the sides, and then we'll drop these feet on afterwards, and then we'll be able to take it up into the boat and see if it fits. It's the next day, so this is all set up. So we've glassed in all these bits of wood around the perimeter, the uprights, all around here, and this support here. And what we need to do now is just trim off these pokey bits. So we've sort of let the glass fly high. So we'll just trim this off, and then we'll sand this perimeter here, this flange, which is where that sits on the floor. Make sure that's nice and flat. Also make sure that these are nice and flat, and then we've got our feet, if you like, that go on here. I've just got to trim in here as well, and then we'll be able to slide those feet in, and we're going to bond those into place as well, and then we can get it on the boat. So we've cleaned all this off, cleaned off all the pokey bits, given it all a good sand, and then we've also just coated this flat foot piece in epoxy, and we've bonded it down, and we put 3 screws through each, so that should be nice and strong when that's set up. We've also put some thickened down the end of each of those feet as well. Problem is today is it's only about 8 degrees outside, so that's going to take some time to set up. So while that epoxy is setting up, we're just back in the boat, and we just need to prepare the area where this shower moulding is going to sit. So this is an epoxy finish on this floor that we did many months ago. So what we're going to do now is just give this a quick hoover, get it nice and clean, give it a wash just to get rid of any aiming blush, and then we just need to sand the areas where those feet are going to meet, and then we also just need to drill some holes around the perimeter, which is where we'll be coming up from underneath to fix the shower moulding into place. That area is now all fully prepped, so sanded the perimeter, also sanded these areas here, which is where the feet on our shower moulding will sit. We've cut a hole for the waste just here, so that's where the shower waste will go through. We will coat this edge here in epoxy resin as well, just to seal that up, and then we've drilled through these holes as well, and we've got some stainless steel coat screws. They'll come up from underneath the floor. We've got good access, and we can screw up through, and we can pull the shower moulding onto the floor and onto the epoxy to make sure we get a really good bond. And then we've also just laid down a strip of Akume ply on the end here, and that's basically where the lip of the shower moulding will sit, and we'll put some structural adhesive down there as well, some 3M 5200, and also on these joints here, just to make sure that that bond is nice and strong, but also we don't get any squeaks where the two fiberglass components are going to be meeting each other. So we'll get that 5200 on now, and we'll get some epoxy mixed up and get that laid down on the floor. Okay, that's going to be a wrap for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, give us a thumbs up. We'll see you on the next one.